Alright, so we're back over at the workbench now. We're going to look at connecting all this together. So we've got our control box. You're going to plug your USB in here, and then the other end we're going to make sure we get the wires the right way around. So remember, before I said you've got 3 wires on your servo. You've got orangey yellow, which is your signal. You've got red, which is your power, your 5 volts, and you've got brown, which is your ground. Now, you know, they might vary slightly, where brown might be black, yellow might be white. So you can see there on this one that's come out of our control box, ground is black, power is red, signal is white. And on that, you want to make sure that you connect them the right way round to your box. So I'm going to get my connector, pop it in here, and I'm just going to connect the USB to some power. Now, doing this sets the servo to its 0 point. So that's where we want the servo to start from. If I press it once, you should be able to hear it. Yeah, just a little bit of, yeah, we can see it moving there. And obviously I'll talk about this in the software video, but it's built to have 2 modes. So your first mode is you press it once and it'll lift the platform a little bit. That'll allow you to uncouple your wagon from the rest of your train. Press it again and it'll complete the motion. Now the second mode is with your button. If you press and hold the button, it'll just complete the whole motion without stopping to uncouple. So if you've got a manual uncoupler or you've got a built-in uncoupler, then you can just press and hold and it will do the full motion without you having to do anything. So we're going to get our floristry wire now, and I'm going to cut a bit off it, just a length to work with to begin with. Now, first things first, you've got to be a little bit careful with how you do this, and again, this is quite nasty stuff. You can stab yourself with it quite easily. So first things, I'm going to grab it by the end here, and I'm going to make a very sort of distinct 90-degree angle in the wire. Okay, and then I'm going to make another 90-degree angle around the other side of my pliers there. So it should be quite a square end on it, and that's the bit that we're going to be hooking through our hole here. So I'm going to take it and pull it through the haven't cleared out this hole very well. Just let me grab my pin vise and I will give it a good, yeah, there we go. I like to go through it this way, so pull it through in this direction, and then you've got to sort of force it around this corner. But the reason that we put the flat in is so that you get quite a nice you get a nice positive free moving angle without it biting, because you've put a bend in through a straight hole. But yeah, so you want to be able to move that freely with the bar. Now this is where a bit of trial and error will come into things. You want about 5 centimeters, 2 inches of wire from the base of there. So, you know, measuring up about this. It'll vary. I don't know why it varies, but it varies. And at that point, I'm going to put in an angle like this. Okay, so you end up with this sort of shape, and that's where our servo horn comes in, our funky servo horn. So I'm getting it here and I'm making sure that the wire is at this corner, and now it's a case of, with our servo zeroed as it was before, we pop this on and then just push it into the servo. Okay, so we're going to see what that looks like. Now I'm going to press and hold for a full cycle. We can see it's lifting our platform. Now that hasn't lifted it quite as far as I'd like, so I can either pull this back a little bit, so again keeping that platform down, I can leave it, pull it back a little bit like so, and then if I press it now, we'll see what happens. Oh, I only did the short press. Okay, oh, that's me causing issues because I haven't bent the rest of it off. But at this point it is a case of trial and error with this. That's my ruler falling on the floor, by the way. So I'm going to just undo that, and I'm going to try making this a little longer. You know, somebody more mechanically minded can probably tell me the ins and outs of whether I should make this longer or shorter. I'm not of that mind. I wasn't quite blessed with that level of intelligence, but I get by. So we'll try this and see what occurs. So again, not quite what I want. You're gonna have to fiddle. I think maybe going a bit shorter on it might be the way. So I'm going to try that. I'm actually going to snip a bit of this excess off to make my life a little easier. There we go. So yeah, as with lots of things, model railways, fettling is involved, unfortunately. It's part of the hobby these days. So let's put it that way up, and you know, repositioning the servo, there's a lot of servo horn, there's a lot of different positions that this can go. Like, you know, clearly that's not a good starting position, can't get our wagon in there. So I'm going to undo this, push that down to 0, and then see where I can put my servo horn in. Let's give that a go. Yeah, that's better. So we're getting there. So that's essentially the build, you know, that's it, step by step, end to end. You know, if I just show you really quick what you have to do with your wagons. So here I've got standard British mineral wagon. You can see we've got a little magnet in the bottom of it. We've also got a smaller one here, a little 5-plank wagon, and the magnet on the bottom. Now the great thing about this is a lot of these wagons just have weights in, so you don't actually have to glue it, it will just hold itself. Now to sort your wagon out, you want to put your magnet on there, and we're going to take it that way up and then connect it to the bottom of our wagon. And the intention here is when you've got track on, so you're going to glue your track onto the top here, your train is going to pull up over it, deposit its wagon, and then grab a little bit of track. I'll have some knocking around. There we go. A bit that was a little too short. I might give it a quick super glue onto there, just to so I can demonstrate properly what's occurring. Give it a couple of dabs here and there. Doesn't need to be anything massive for this. That's a bad idea. I always find it best to put it close to the edge of the platform. Yeah, so let's hold that in place for a minute while that dries, and I'll come back in the next video to show you it working.